Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Abi pun.
Ya,
Your Excellency, Director of the State Islamic Institute of Metro, Dr. Haja Siti Nurjanah MAGPIA. The Honorable, the speakers of the 11th Metro International Conference on Islamic Studies. The Honorable, the first Vice Rector of the State Islamic Institute of Metro. The Honorable, the third Vice Rector of the State Islamic Institute of Metro. The Honorable, the Director of Postgraduate of the State Islamic Institute of Metro. The Honorable, the Committee and the participants of the 11th Metro International Conference on Islamic Studies. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most gracious, all praises be to Allah, the Lord of the world, the Master of the day after, the Creator of everything in this universe, who has been giving us His mercy and blessings, so we can gather in this nice occasion on the 11th Metro International Conference on Islamic Studies, postgraduate of the State Islamic Institute of Metro. May peace and salutation always be given to our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, peace be upon him. He is the last messenger of God who had guided us to attain the prosperous life in this world and hereafter. The 11th Metro International Conference on Islamic Studies, by theme, the internalization of prophetic values in education, law and economy and digital era. Postgraduate of the State Islamic Institute of Metro, Thursday, the 8th of December 2022, will commence. The first program is opening. Let's open the 11th Metro International Conference today by reciting Basmalah. The national anthem. Reading the Holy Quran. Bapak Faris Fatur Rahman, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم من جاء بالحسنة فله عشر أمثالها وما جاء بالسيئة فلا يجزى إلا مثلها فلا يجزى إلا مثلها وهم لا يظلمون قل إنني هداني ربي إلى صراط مستقيم دينا قيما ملة إبراهيم حنيفا وما كان من المشركين قل إن صلاتي ونسكي ومحياي ومماتي لله ومحياي ومماتي لله رب العالمين لا شريك له وبذلك أمرت وأنا أول مسلم لا شريك له وبذلك أمرت وأنا أول المسلمين. صدق الله العظيم. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Sadaqallahul azim, sadaqallahul azim, wa nahnu minasyahidin. The welcoming speech. Your Excellency, the Director of Postgraduate of the State Islamic Institute of Metro, Bapak Dr. Muhtar Hadi MSI, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin, arsala rasulahu bil huda wa dinil haq liyusirahu 'ala dini kulli wa kafa billahi shahida. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la syarika lah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Allahumma shalli 'ala Muhammad wa 'ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man tabi'ahum ila yaumil qiyamah. The Excellency Rector of YIN Metro, Dr. Siti Nurjana MAG, the Excellency Vice Rector of YIN Metro, the Honorable Speaker on this international seminar, the Excellency Mr. Hakimul Ikhwan PhD, Lecturer at the Postgraduate School of Leadership and Policy Innovation Program, Gajah Mada University, Yogyakarta, the Excellency Associate Professor Dr. Atul Patil, Head School Humanities, Mid at Design and Technology University, Pune, India, the Excellency Professor Dr. Muhammad Suaib Khan, Director Office of the Research, Innovation and Commercialization Governance, College University, Hyderabad, Pakistan, and the Excellency Dr. Mubiar Agustin, MPD, Lecturer and Researcher at the Indonesian Education University, Jakarta. The Honorable to the leaders of YIN Metro and all postgraduate management of YIN Metro, for all participants and of the 11 Metro International Conference on Islamic Studies 2022. Let's all give thanks to Allah for all rahmat, taufiq, and hidayah. Today we can attend and participate in an international conference organized by the YIN Metro Postgraduate Program. Salawat and salam may always be devoted to the great Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and his family, friends, and followers. On this occasion, I want to convey that the international conference that is being held is a routine agenda of the YIN Metro Postgraduate Program, which is held every year. In 2022, Islamic Studies Conference is the 11th since it was first held in 2012. At this conference, the theme chosen was the internalization of prophetic values in education, law, and economy in digital era. This theme was chosen with the consideration that we must continue to apply religious values in our personal life as well as in public life in various fields. practice effort to religious values in various aspects of life increasingly needed in the midst of society lifestyle that tend to be pragmatic, hedonic, secular, corrupt, and permissive. In this digital era, these values are growing and marginalizing religious values. At the practical level, effort to internalize prophetic values in the aspect of education, law enforcement, and in the economic realm must be shared responsibility. On this occasion, I would also like to thank the speaker who have been willing to share experience and knowledge at the 11th Metro International Conference on Islamic Studies. Thanks to Mr. Hakim Al-Ifan, PhD, lecturer at the Post School of Leadership and Policy Innovation Program, Gajah Mada University. Thanks, Mr. Prof. Dr. Atul Patil, Head School Humanities and IT Art Design and Technology University, Pune, India. And thanks to Mr. Prof. Dr. Muhammad Suhaib Khan, Director, Office of the Research, Innovation and Commercialization Government College, University Hyderabad, Pakistan. And Mr. Dr. Mubair Agustin MPD, Lecturer and Researcher at the Indonesian Education University, Jakarta. Thanks also to all postgraduate management of IAIN Metro who organized this program, and thanks to postgraduate students and the audience who participate as participant in today's international conference. The Excellence to the Rector of IAIN Metro can give a speech and officially open this international conference. This is my remark on behalf of the IAIN Metro Postgraduate Program. Welcome to the conference and apologies if there are many mistakes. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you for the speech conveyed. The next speech is an opening speech from the rector. Your Excellency, the Rector of the State Islamic Institute of Metro, Ibu Dr. Siti Nurjanah MAG PIA, time is yours.
Ya, Direktur kan layar sempit.
I'm sorry. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wa bihi nasta'inu ala umuri dunya waddin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin sayyidina wa maulana Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Amma ba'du. Your Excellency, the speakers, first to Mr. Hakimul Ihwan, PhD, lecturer at the Postgraduate School and Leadership and Policy Innovation Program, Gajah Mada University. Second, for Associate Professor Dr. Atul Patil, Head School Humanities, MIT Art, Design and Technology, University, Pune, India. And the third, Professor Dr. Muhammad Suhaib Khan, the Director Office of the Research, Innovation and Commercialization Government College, University, Hyderabad, Pakistan. And the fourth, and Mr. Dr. Mubair Agustin, MPD, lecturer and researcher at the Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia. The Honorable Vice Rectors in here, Mr. Dr. Mahrus Asad, MAG, Vice Rector, the third Vice Rector, and Director of Postgraduate Program of State Institute for Islamic Studies, Mr. Dr. Muhtar Hadi, MSc, and the Committee of Postgraduate Program of State Institute for Islamic Studies, or IAIN Metro, and the distinguished moderator and all participants this program. So, ladies and gentlemen, allow me in this opportunity to welcome all of this international conference participants by first praying to grateful and praise to the Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for His blessing, grace, and mercies that have made us possible to get together virtually. Salawat and salam to our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who has brought us from the darkness into the lightness, so we can so we can develop our knowledge and other. Dear speakers and all participants of the 11th Metro International Conference on Islamic Studies, or MICIS the 11, 20 and 22. This conference is one of the events carried out by postgraduate program of IAIN Metro annually. And the theme of this year is the internationalization of prophetic values in education, law, and economy in digital era. As all we know, prophetic education is an ideal educational policy and administration following the teaching of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik alaihi. The prophetic values include being the honest or siddiq, trustworthy or amanah, delivering message or tabligh, and intelligent or fatona. This approach views learners as human nature so that it can be fulfilled with moral. Several interrelated prophetic education values is relation with the pillar of positive politeness and character education. These values form the self-sufficiency of students in Indonesia. They were manifested in the reality oriented to humanization, liberalization, and transcendence. Humanization was released through social life based on the generosity, honesty, tolerance, and politeness values. Similarly, liberalization was released through the education, health, mutual help, and hard work values. Moreover, transcendent life was actualized according to the consistency or istiqomah in worshiping Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, gratitude and humility or tawadu values. The prophetic values can be used as a pillar of politeness, development, and strengthening educational character in digital era. In accordance with the vision and mission of EIN Metro, that is to become the State Islamic University or UIN, this international conference is one among many efforts to make this vision and mission come true. Amin. Allahumma amin. It is part of our concern and contribution of Zion and technology for enhancing nation productivity and competitiveness in Indonesia. Hopefully, we all can scientifically give more contribution to the nation advancement in the not too distant future. To all of our distinguished speakers and participants, let's open this event by reciting Basmalah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
very much for your attention. I hope, pardon me for my mistake in my speaking, and thank you for being here. Welcome and enjoy the conference. Allahul muwaffiq ila aqwamit thoriq. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Ibu Rector, for the speech conveyed. The next program is prayer. Bapak Dr. Ahmad Zumaro, MA, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. That's why for the success or event today. Auzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Allahumma inna nas'aluka bi'annaka alhamdu la ilaha anta wahdak la syarika lak al-mannan badi'us samawati wal ardi ya zal jalali ikram wa ya hayyu ya qayyum. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا ولوالدينا وارحمهما كما ربيانا صغارا ولجميع المسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا. اللهم أحسن عاقبتنا في الأمور كلها وأجزنا من خزي الدنيا وعذاب الآخرة. اللهم أخرجنا من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمنا بنور الفهم وافتح علينا بمعرفة العلم ونور قلوبنا بنور هدايتك كما نورت الشمس والقمر وسهل لنا أبواب فضلك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم إنا نسألك سلامة في الدين وعافية في الجسد وبركة في الرزق وتوبة قبل الموت ورحمة عند الموت ومغفرة بعد الموت. هون علينا في سكرات الموت والنجاة من النار والعفو عند الناس. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, before we close our opening today, it is advised to all participants to activate the camera because we are going about to take the photo screenshot for our activities morning. please activate the camera and please get ready. I will count 1 until 3. Yes, so everyone have to be in ready condition. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is for the first station. Okay, the next slide. 1, 2, 3. Oh, wait. Okay. Okay, 1, 2, 3. This is for the next slide, the next station. And then the last slide. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay, slide 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you. We go to the next slide. 1, 2, 3. Okay, there are 10 slides here. And then we go to the sixth slide. Next slide, please get ready, everyone. Yeah, there are still many of you do not activate the camera yet. Okay, 1, 2, 3. This is for the sixth. And then continue to the 7th slide. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you. And then go to the next, the 8th slide. 1, 2, 3. Well, thank you. Now we go to the last slide. Yeah, please get ready. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Well, thank you for the participants who are here. Okay, the last program is about closing. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the opening of the 11th Metro International Conference on Islamic Studies, postgraduate of the State Islamic Institute of Metro. Let's close this opening ceremony by saying Hamdallah.
Alhamdulillah.
As master of ceremony, I ask and apologize for any mistakes. Thank you for your nice attention. And finally, I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, now we go to the most weighted program. It is about the 11th Metro International Conference on Islamic Studies that will be guided by Ibu Dr. Arya Septi Anggaira MPD. For Ibu Arya, time is yours.
Thank you for the Master of Ceremony. We are to begin the conference. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Respectable Rector of IAIN Metro, and Mrs. Dr. Siti Nurjana, MAGPIA, honorable speakers, honorable the first Vice Rector of IAIN Metro, honorable the third Vice Rector of IAIN Metro, honorable Director and Vice Director of Graduate School of IAIN Metro, and all participants. Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the second session of MICHIS. This is the 11th International Conference of Islamic Studies 2022. Well, my name is Arya Septi Anggaira, and I'm going to be the moderator today. I'm very pleased to see you here and welcome all of you to this conference. Well, we know that in this digital era, the prophetic values is needed for all of aspects of life, yeah, especially in education, law, and economy. So today's panel session is about the internalization of prophetic values in education, law, and economy in digital era. All right. We have 4 speakers actually, and right now we have 3 of them, already with us. We have Mr. Hakimul Ihwan, PhD, and then Dr. Mubiar Agustin, MPD, and also Prof. Atul Patil, and Professor Muhammad Soib Khan Pathan will be joining with us later on. Well, I'd like to greet the first speaker, Mr. Hakimul Ihwan. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Welcome to Michis. And then the second speaker, Dr. Mubiar Agustin, MPD. Hello.
Hello.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yeah, welcome to Michis
Thank
for
you very
the
much.
speakers. And well, I'm going to do our presentation till the next 3 hours. And you all speakers will talk around 30 minutes. And then after 4 speakers have presented their topics, we'll have a discussion for about 40 minutes. And this is for your information. Our audience are faculties, researchers, and students also. So quite from various background. Yeah, and this is for audience or participant. We will have a question and answer session. Yeah. So if you have a question during the session, you can type your question in the chat box. And then in the question and answer session, if you have a question, you can ask your question by raising your hands. Okay, and yeah, we will start soon because I'm sure you can wait. Yeah, so let me introduce you briefly to our first speaker. Yeah, I'm going to invite Mr. Hakimul Ihwan, PhD. Well, of course, I will read your profile first. Yeah. Mr. Hakimul Ihwan, PhD, is a lecturer at the Postgraduate School of Leadership and Policy Innovation Program, Gajah Mada University, Indonesia. He is also a researcher at the Center of Population and Policy Studies, Gajah Mada University. His areas of interest is in the study of leadership, including followership and indigenous leadership, sociology of religion, especially related to Islam, Islamism, and Muslim society. Well, of course, he has a lot of publication. I noticed there are more than 30 papers. Yeah. Okay, for Mr. Hakimul Ihwan, PhD, I'll give you 30 minutes to present your work, your paper. So please, time is yours.
Thank you very much, Bu Arya Septi. First of all, I will try to share my slide. Bu Septi, can you see my presentation?
Yes, Mr. Hakimul, it's so nice.
All right. Okay. Her Excellency, Rector of IAIN Metro, Ibu Dr. Siti Nurjana MAG, Honorable Vice Rector, Honorable Director of Postgraduate Study, IAIN Metro, and all lecturers and invitees and speakers in this very great challenge, this very great conference. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, first of all, I would like to thanks to the committee, to the directors also of the IAIN Metro for a great opportunity. I am so honored to be part of presenters in this conference. It is a hard topic, actually, not easy one, but also very challenging. Yeah, the internalization of prophetic values in education, law, economy in the digital era. And I try to make my presentation as brief as possible to address the topic, yeah, as requested by the committee. And here, instead of taking all the issue on education, law, and economy, I try to maybe add some it to education, also related to society. Sorry, yeah, okay. And here there are some other speakers. Yeah, I love to share ideas, research perspective in this conference. And here I will present my paper entitled Internalization of Prophetic Values in the Digitaloceans. I am inspired by the term Anthropocene. I think we all familiar with the term Anthropocene, and referring to that term, which we already familiar with, I try to adapt Digitaloceans. What does it mean? It means the digital, or when the digital, the Internet of Things, has dominated human activities, way of thinking, feeling, and behaving. The technology is not anymore related to the gadget, yeah, to the device that we use. The development of technology almost influence all aspects of our life. And from that development, I think we might come to the Digitaloceans, yeah, when the digital or the Internet of Things has dominated all part of our life. And again, since the invitation is related to the internalization, and I believe all of us here also familiar with the conception, especially from Indonesian scholars, very well-known scholars, Professor Kunto Wijoyo. We also learn from him that when we talk about internalization, at the same time also we talk about externalization. But I think I agree and really appreciate that in this occasion, in this conference, we will focus on the internalization. Yeah, because maybe in 3 hours for 4 speakers, including Q&A, it is not enough to discuss all the issue of internalization, externalization, and prophetic values. Yeah. So I think when we limit and we focusing on the internalization is, I think, very great strategy. Yeah, very nice. And hopefully we can enrich our discussion today. Again, I really appreciate and really inspired by the committee for taking the topic related to the prophetic values. Yeah, and again, I think these books and with the cover of Professor Kunto Wijoyo is also familiar to all of us. And we talk about prophetic values. I think we also cannot separate. We cannot also forgotten the key conception of first humanity. Yeah, talking about the humanity atau humanisasi, might call it humanisasi, and liberalization. Yeah, liberalisasi and transcendency. Yeah. I will not discuss all of these 3 key conceptions of prophetic values that already discussed a lot by Professor Kunto Wijoyo, but it is nice for us to start from recalling our understanding, our reading, and of course, our rethinking on the conception of humanity, liberalization, and transcendency. Why I start with that three conception by Professor Kunto Wijoyo? Because as Mbak Arya Safety also mentioned before, that I am in the last years, apart from my activities at the Department of Sociology at Visipol Gadjah Mada University, I've also been teaching in the postgraduate study in leadership and policy innovation. And might be the program is the first, maybe in Indonesia about leadership and policy innovation. And talking about leadership and policy innovation, and back to our main topic in this conference, when we talk about values, there are many, what do you call it, field, many sectors, many issues. When we talk about prophetic values, for instance, where will we put the prophetic values in a broader context of our modern life? Let's say, for instance, if we talk about public and private values, we can see from here, from the chart here, the diagram, from the survey to 766 of public sectors and 497 private sectors, it is very clear that the main values in the public sector and private sector is very much different. For instance, if we talk about public sectors, the very prominent and dominant and the core values in the public sectors, we talk about incorruptibility. We talk about the issue corruption. We talk about the issue impartiality. When we don't relate our personal preferences, our personal affiliation, for instance, in public service. So we talk about incorruptibility and impartiality. But when we talk about private sector, for instance, our colleague, who works in the private sectors, they consider a lot on the values of efficiency, innovativeness, and profitability, which our another colleagues or ourselves, part of the public university, we don't really actually consider or take very seriously the issue of, for instance, profitability, in the public university. In some private university, they might talk about profit, but in the public university might be different. So I would say that when we talk about prophetic values, we might also consider the fact that we need to also consider various other sectors. When we talk about, for instance, the market atau pasar, market, of course they have different values to the bureaucracy. For instance, bureaucracy, they make it slow sometimes, because they have that values, which people in the market, in the private sector, they have the speed, for instance, because they grown in the different values. And also, what come to my mind when I recall my reading and understanding on private and on prophetic values, I come to my reading also on current development in social science. When we discuss about prophetic values and we put it or we relate it into current development of social science theories, I think we might rethinking, the way we present, the way we frame prophetic values. In this regard, to what I interested in is about the theory of discourse, for instance, especially by Ernesto Laclau and Chantal Mouffe, on theory. Okay, I think we can discuss later on why theory of discourse might be considered to rethinking on the prophetic values. But very briefly, I would say that our current world, our social life now, especially in the digital era, is very much influenced by the discourse. What is the reality? Professor Kunto Wijoyo, he also put another key conception on realitas sosial, social reality. The reality, which consider as reality in 20 years ago, might be to what I know, is very different to what we mean by reality of current society. And that we come to the discourse. Discourse is not only about text, I think I will clarify here what do I mean by discourse. It is not only about the text, the speech, the words, but the discourse is the integrity, the comprehensiveness of text and practices. So discourse involve text, speech, words, images, movies, films, symbol, but also practices. And of course, I was also inspired very much by the Talal Asad on his very thick, very thin, books from his presentation. But from this thin books, he proposed an argument on Islam as a discursive tradition. And based on this, I think we can discuss further on how we rethinking the theory of, or the conception of humanity, liberalization, and transcendency. Also, related to this, we cannot also ignore the fact that we need also to consider very much on the fact that internet penetration in Indonesia, is increasing very rapidly, especially after the pandemic of COVID. Based on the survey by the APJII, Asosiasi Penyelenggara Jasa Internet Indonesia, after the pandemic, the users and also the penetration of internet to Indonesian people are increasing. In 2021, the number reached 77%. It is more than 200 Indonesian people already have an access to the internet. And compared to the 197 before the pandemic. So we have that development. We have the internet penetration, and that will very substantially, very highly influence our society. And then back to Max Weber key conception on his criticism on modern words. He says that the Enlightenment project, as the foundation of the modern civilization, that aim of advancing human freedom, progress, and happiness. At the same time, however, the promise of happiness, the promise of freedom, the promise of progress, at the same time also creating problem the structure and the institution are depriving humankind of their freedom. Yeah, we are celebrating that we have freedom, but at the same time, we are also suffering from unfreedom, from dependency. We are celebrating the advancement of technology, but at the same times, we also suffering a lot from the humanization of technology. So then Weber, for instance, he come to the question, what type of humanity and what type of rationalization, the values will spring from this tension. And if we talk about the digital society, the internet, the IA, the artificial intelligence, for instance, to me, the iron cage, we have been trapped, ya, we have been trapped in the iron cage. Jadi kita terperangkap dalam sangkar besi ini, dan masyarakat modern they have very much influenced by the logic of bureaucracy, for instance, but at the same time they also being trapped in the iron cage of bureaucracy. And unfortunately and very sadly, we find that our current development of technology, the artificial intelligence and the automacy, for instance, making us into even very serious being trapped in that logic of bureaucracy. Jadi sekarang misalnya bagaimana our device, our computer, yeah, they notice, they record very well our preferences. Jadi kalau sekali kita searching sepatu merek tertentu, ya, maka media sosial apapun yang kita buka lembar Google, maka akan muncul merek sepatu tersebut atau sepatu sejenis yang ditawarkan. Ya, the record, the documentation by the artificial intelligence in the internet from any device that we use, they make it more sophisticated documentation. Jadi kalau dulu birokrasi itu melahirkan pembantaian Nazi karena tragedi yang dokumentasi birokrasi yang kemudian dipakai oleh Hitler untuk melacak siapa Nazi, siapa yang bukan Nazi, siapa yang Yahudi dan bukan Yahudi di Jerman. Nowadays, the record of ourselves is even more sophisticated. Jadi rekam diri kita menjadi lebih dahsyat lagi tersimpan di internet sana. Siapa kita, apa yang kita tonton, makanan apa yang kita suka, sepatu merek-merek apa yang kita suka, semua terekam dalam internet. That's, I think, the form of more even sophistication of the logic of bureaucracy. And we come to, I think, we also shocked by suicide bombing, and again it seems that we cannot escape, we cannot run away from the radicalism and kind of terrorism. And it all start, I think, from the discussion in the library. It all start from Samuel Huntington on his from his thesis on the class of civilization. And if we look at Samuel Huntington and its kinds, ya, buku-buku sejenis ini itu, and that also explain to us the problem of modern, especially Western perspective. We come to the problem of essentialism, binary opposition, and grand narrative. Jadi ada filsafat esensialisme yang misalnya menyebut Islam sebagai kategori tertentu yang berbeda dengan non-Islam, Timur sebagai kategori tertentu yang berbeda dengan Barat, gitu. Dan tidak hanya esensialism, it is not only about essentialism when we apply particular characteristic to particular groups, but more seriously, the two different characteristics are situated into binary opposition. Jadi timur dan barat bukan hanya dua kategori yang berbeda, tapi sekaligus dua kategori yang saling beroposisi. Dan di dalam kontestasi itu dibangun grand narrative. Which one is civilized, which one is not civilized, which one is modern, and which one is not modern, for instance. And then when we come to the Internet of Things, then the Internet of Things, jadi the promise of happiness from the Internet of Things, from the digital, is not only make us more connected. We share many things. We live in abundance. Dalam kelimpah ruahan, dalam kelebihan, dalam semua macam. Sekarang kalau mau baca buku, ya, if you want to read books, article, journal, it is flooded, ya. We live in abundance. Berlimpah, kita mau buku apa gitu. Teman-teman mau nonton film apa? Buka YouTube, buka banyak website, teman-teman akan menantikan itu. We live in that life of abundance, ya, in the situation of abundance. But at the same time, unfortunately, the connected globes, dunia yang terhubung itu at the same time also segregated, ya. We in the 20 years ago cannot imagine that America or American can say to the world that America for Americans, France for France, ya, England for English, for instance, Eropa untuk Eropa. In 20 years ago, we cannot believe that that will take place in the very advanced globalization. But today, we find it, we see it, how the globalization bring us to more segregated society. Kayaknya kita lebih egaliter, tapi at the same time we are very deprived. Kita sangat timpang, kita sangat jauh sekali inequalities. And at the same time, although we are living in life in the situation of abundance, but at the same time also we are living in a scarcity. Kita hidup dalam banyak sekali isu-isu keterbatasan. Ya, kita bicara soal resources, natural resources, and many things. Ya, we are suffered a lot from that scarcity. Okay, then let's see how. Let's see to our main topic today about the prophetic values. Why we need to rethinking, reconsidering, and discussing about the prophetic values. First of all, I think if we look at to many surveys data, this is I got it from Pew Research org. From the data survey, we can find here on the first graphs that Islam, yeah, we can see how Islam is the most, the fastest and the largest growing religion, yeah. Especially the number, yeah. If you talk about the number, yeah. Here, Islam is growing fastest. Muslim are the only major religions group projected to increase faster than the world's population as a whole. Yeah, and also here you can see how then some scholars call it as a religious resurgence. Yeah, as a religious resurgence. Yang tadinya orang yang tidak berafiliasi dengan agama, jumlahnya semakin sedikit, itu artinya orang yang berafiliasi dengan agama semakin besar. Ya, terjadi kebangkitan agama. At the same time also there is an issue of desecularization, ya. Pendekatan sekular yang tadinya menguat, asumsinya menguat di akhir tahun 90-an, nowadays we can see that religion is very at the core, at the center of digital modern society. And of course, new religious spirituality. If we don't talk about religion, we might say about religious spirituality. And then if you look at to the very bestseller books by Harari, yeah, he said that human evolution, and not only then human evolution, but might also means religion will continue to evolve to evolution, yeah, and might be the part of the digital technology might be attached to ourself, our body. So Harari, for instance, said that our body, human body, might again continue its process of evolution. Ya, kalau sekarang banyak teman-teman yang pakai jam tangan untuk tahu detak jantung, tekanan darah dan macam-macam. Jadi jam tangan itu, detak jantung itu tidak lagi ada di jam tangan, mungkin ditempel di bagian tubuh kita, dan makin lama itu akan berkembang semakin sempurna. The evolutionary of form of religion, I think kita bisa lihat, we can see from Karen Armstrong, for instance, A History of God, and some others book literatures talking about the evolutionary of religion. And this is the automation, the development of technology from human centered to then technology or the automation. This is just a case. Yeah, I want to bring here a case or some example of how the digital and our life is not in a single way, but we are influencing. Agama mempengaruhi digital, tapi at the same time digital also mempengaruhi agama. Yeah, might be in our devices. We can find some here, at least, for instance, some application related to religion, or we can find on our gadget anything, resources, application to show us time of praying, for instance, or reading Quran or Hadith or any books available on the application. And the implication on the education, we can see then it influenced the way, the method of learning and teaching. The very dominant online learning, video, audio, and visual, and also I had doctoral student, bimbingan saya sudah lulus, baru saja lulus in sociology. He's doing a doctoral study in sociology and doing a research on googling culture in a school. Jadi googling ini bukan hanya nama perusahaan, tapi it already indicate as a practice. Seperti banyak orang misalnya menyebut beli Indomie, his mean bukan hanya Indomie, tapi sebenarnya mie instan atau Pepsodent atau yang lain, ya. And googling it now become the word that used to search engine, for instance, the practice of searching. And moving from conventional classical learning to web-based digital learning. And then if we see the development from the conventional, the classical to the web-based learning, it bring me to another book by Professor Kunto Wijoyo, Muslim Tanpa Masjid. Yeah, from his book Muslim Without Mosque. And nowadays, what we can see around us, I think we all witness the development around us, where nowadays there are many santris, banyak santri without pesantren. Many people learn, but without kitab, and many people involved in politics without party. Yeah. In the next slide, I will show the some of the example of this. For instance, here. Ya, if we type some key, for instance, berapa kata kunci ini saya ambil contoh saja, misalnya bagaimana sholat mayit. Ya, on the top list itu yang memberi cara sholat mayit itu merdeka.com, ya, detik.com. Kalau kita lihat gramedia.com, republika.com, suara.com, you can put any keywords on your search engine, ya, and we can see why we learn from, for instance, merdeka.com on bagaimana sholat mayit. Ya. Also here, saya ngetik misalnya Quran surat 6 ayat 99. Ya. yang muncul bukan aplikasi Quran atau website tentang Quran. Again, it is merdeka.com, tokopedia.com. Ya, what to do with tokopedia.com on surah Al-An'am ayat 99, liputan6.com for instance. Ya, again, it is what I said before about learning without kitab. Ya, and also here becoming santri without pesantren, because we can learn religion teaching from website. We can see many website, many official account on YouTube, for instance. Here Gus Baha, yeah, and even rumaiso.com, yeah, he provide everything you need, yeah. Even Biro Jodoh, yeah, he also provide that service. If you want to learn Islam, you can search. You want a fikih, you want filsafat, yeah, hukum, everything's provided on rumaiso.com. And then politics without party, yeah. Muslim can mobilize millions of people, but to which party they belong to? They are not belong to that particular party, yeah. They belong to maybe not specific political party. So this is what I mean by politics without party. And last part of my presentation, and I'm sorry I missed to make sure how many minutes left for me to finish my presentation. Ways to internalize prophetic values. First of all, I think the very key issue, at least to myself, is about digital literacy. Why I consider a lot on the digital literacy, because what we see from government approach, ya, digital literacy itu artinya stempel hoax yang diberikan oleh pemerintah, ya. Saya kira ini simplifikasi luar biasa dari digital literacy, ya. Why particular institution, authority have that legitimacy to a stamp? Mengapa kok dia punya legitimasi untuk memberi stempel tentang hoax? Ya, and when we reduce and when we locate digital literacy on the stempel of hoax, I think that misunderstanding seriously on what we should mean by digital literacy. Yeah, first of all, what we talk about when we talk about digital literacy, digital mean numerics, literacy mean vice versa illiteracy. Literacy, the condition of being literate. But more importantly, I think when we talk about digital literacy, it is not only just finding information, bukan hanya cek fakta, bukan hanya cek data, ya, tetapi juga develop through particular attitude, ya, persistency, attention, detail, caution in accepting single sources. Kita perlu berhati-hati, kita perlu berwaspada, hanya merefer pada satu sumber saja. So what we mean by digital literacy is the world of many possibilities mestinya. Yang saya kira di banyak literatur menyebut digital literacy itu artinya literasi tentang there are many possibilities, not single and close fact. All what we mean by digital literacy is the ability to understand and use information through variety of digital sources. Jadi tidak cukup hanya searching dan hanya berhenti di first page of Google. We need to search from variety of digital sources. And this is the, I think this is what Professor Kunto Wijoyo said. He already discussed about this conception, humanity, liberalization, transcendency, or theocentrism. But then I would like to add to some key conception from Professor Kunto Wijoyo on how we use future study approach, on the way we internalize prophetic values. What I mean by a future study approach is, first, back to the first framework on the theory of discourse and Islam as a discursive tradition. First, we need to bring again our frame to see Islam as a field of discursivity. Discursive tradition meaning that we see Islam as a phenomenon that emerged in the present, jadi harus kontekstual hari ini, tapi is related to the past and oriented to the future. And also the openness to shift from one form of interpretation and practice to another. The openness of understanding of Islam is another key, and of course moving away from positivism, binary essentialism, and foundationalism. My apologize for some maybe misunderstanding or disagreement, but of course I'm open to discussion. And Mbak Arya, that's what I can present today in this presentation, in this conference. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Wow. We got new insight from your perspective, Prof, especially about prophetic values in the digital sense. Yeah, thank you very much. And we will have a question and answer at the end of this conference. So we will invite the second speaker right now, and I will also invite my friend as a moderator. Please, Mr. Dr. Ahmad Subhan Roja, who will, Ahmad Zumaro, who will guide for the second speaker. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the time, Mrs. Arya Anggera, and very interesting presentation for the speaker, the first speaker, Hakimul Ikhwan. And next we step to the second speaker, Mr. Mubiar Gustian. He is the lecturer in the Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, ya, Bandung, and more activities. Okay, for the faithfully time, I give the Mr. Mubiar Gustian to present his people. Now, Mr. Agustian.
Assalamualaikum.
No more than 20 minutes, yeah.
Okay, it's no problem. May I sing the song the first to make everyone more relaxed?
Okay,
it's no problem.
Continue, Mister. The time for you.
Okay. Okay, yeah. To make sure that everyone not forget about the excellent material from my brother, Mas Kimul, yeah. So I will give you one sing by the title Palu, yeah, Palu, to make sure that you not lupa. Ya. Oke. Lagunya jadi lagu Palu ya, supaya kita tidak lupa ya. Ya, kelihatannya sebab barusan I see that the subject matter delivered with Mr. Kimul is very hard ya. Very hard and very hard ya. Oke. Kita relaksasi dulu ya, untuk materi saya yang berikutnya. Materi yang dari saya insya Allah lebih kontekstual ya, lebih aplikatif ya. Baik, semua lagu palunya pakai tangan ya. Ini palu yang pertama, ini palu yang kedua, ini palu yang ketiga, kemudian palu yang keempatnya diam ya. Oke. Ayo, Bro Jumaro, let's we practice it. Ya, oke. Ada satu palu, 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 tambah satu palu menjadi dua. Ada dua palu, palu, tambah satu palu menjadi tiga. Your neck? Ada tiga palu, 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 tambah satu palu menjadi diam. Bergaya ya, bergaya yang paling handsome ya. Harus kelihatan wajah awal bulan ya. Okay, thank you very much for as the first, allow me to say excellently and honorable to Bunda Siti Nurjana as the rector of IAIN Metro Lampung. Also honorable to Bapak Dr. Muhtar Hadi as the director of postgraduates ya, IAIN Metro Lampung. Also to my my brother Mr. Kimul, Mas Hakimul Ihwan ya. 27 tahun tidak bertemu, justru bertemunya di Lampung di sini. Terima kasih. Artikel-artikel Scopusnya jangan hanya disimpan ya, langsung diajukan untuk guru besar ya, jangan didiamkan. Oke, honorable the lecturers and participant, on also student at IAIN Metro Lampung. Thank you very much for your invitation to me to speak on the title Prophetic Education as the alternative in strengthening educational moderation. Yeah. Before Mr. Kimul PhD has informed us a lot of prophetic education in the other field, yeah, especially in the theory about prophetic education. And allow me here to speak the prophetic education based on practice, yeah, based on practice or something that more be application, yeah, application, yeah, not the only theory. Yeah. The first question, when? Kapan? Yeah. This is a lot of question. What we do with our children as we are teacher and as we are a parent. Yeah. When was the last time we said hello to our children? Kapan terakhir kita mengucapkan salam kepada anak-anak? When was the last time we kiss a child? Kapan terakhir kita mengecup dan memeluk anak-anak kita di rumah? When was the last time we held a child? Kapan terakhir kita punya waktu untuk menggendong anak, untuk menggendong mereka? Then When was the last time we praised it and thanked our children? Yeah. When was the last time we played with our children? When was the last time we told story to the child? Yeah, accompanying that child to sleep as the simple activity. Yeah. When was the last? Kapan terakhir? Who are you? Busy with the prophet? Yeah. What I said about when from the first to say hello or salam until we told stories to the children, it's activity that our prophet Nabi Muhammad Shallallahu Alaihi Wasallam do. Semua yang disampaikan dalam kata-kata when, kapan, ini semua dilakukan oleh Nabi. We can find hadis that Nabi never if meet the children, our prophet said salam, because salam is full of wisdom and pahala from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So from the lot of question in the second slide or PPT, we have to learn an example from human that guarantee heaven or paradise. Jadi berdasarkan kondisi ini, berdasarkan contoh yang sudah sangat jelas dan konkret, maka sewajarnya kita belajar itu dari orang yang bergaransi surga. Dan manusia itu bernama Nabi Muhammad Shallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Maka isu yang saya munculkan di sini, it's about prophetic education. We can find a lot of meaning in the field of prophetic education. Yeah. The example, Allah said at Al-Quran, Surat Al-Ahzab 21,
Well, I'm so sorry, Mr. Mubiar Agustin has a bad connection, I guess.
mohon maaf, jaringan sedikit terganggu di kampus.
Welcome back, Mr.
Okay. Sorry for the trouble. Everyone can see my slide here now?
No.
It's still on process, I guess.
Okay. It's okay, Bunda Arya? The slide?
Yeah. Good.
Sudah oke ya? Sudah bisa terlihat? Oke. Then we can find on hadith from Ummul Mukminin Aisyah radhiyallahu anha that she described about our prophet, his moral Quran. Khuluquhu Quran, bahwa akhlak Nabi adalah Quran. In the other hadith, Rasulullah Shallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, "Whoever obeys, we will go to heaven. Whoever hates me, Al-Quran and hadith sahih, then he is one of those who refuse or disobey." This is the proof that we have to make Rasulullah Shallallahu Alaihi Wasallam as the good example in our life, even in our activity in education. Now, what is the form of prophet education? The first is strengthening exemplary, keteladanan, uswatun hasanah. The second one, step by step, respect to process, repeat 3 times. We can find in hadith that Rasulullah Shallallahu Alaihi Wasallam ditanya dan dimintai nasihat, maka Nabi mengatakan 3 kali, la tagdob, la tagdob, la tagdob. Jangan marah, jangan marah, jangan parah. Jadi dalam pendidikan juga tidak cukup kita hanya melarang dan mencegah anak, tapi kita harus mengikuti prosesnya dan juga langkah-langkahnya dengan tepat. Jangan hanya melarang, tapi harus ada harus ada acuan yang jelas, dan kadang-kadang Nabi melakukannya lebih dari 1 kali, ya. The third, strengthening positive words, ya. Like kaulan sadida. Then kaulan layina. Then kaulan baligha. It's mean in managerial effective and effective communication. Yeah. The fourth, it is hayyinun, humble, layinun, sahlun, and koribun. And the last, there was dialogue or discussion. Education need more dialogue. Education need more discussion. Kita bisa mencermati sebagaimana misalnya salah satu filsuf atau pemikir pendidikan dari Brazil yang bernama Paulo Freire, di mana beliau menyampaikan kritiknya terhadap pendidikan, bahwa salah satu permasalahan pendidikan di kita adalah miskin dialog antar stakeholder, termasuk di dalamnya adalah antara murid dengan guru. Next, we can find that child as investment. So kita bisa masuk surga dengan salah satunya menjadikan anak-anak itu, anak-anak yang kita didik sebagai investasi dunia untuk meraih akhirat. The example in the hadith that Muslim riwayah, Rasulullah Shallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, when the son of Adam dies, all his deeds are cut off except for 3 things. And every one of us know about this: continuous charity, sedekah yang continue, the knowledge use, ilmu yang dimanfaatkan, then few children who pray, anak soleh yang mendoakan kita. Jadi kalau kita mendidik, tapi kita tidak punya investasi untuk akhirat, maka tentunya kita akan merugi kalau kita hanya mendapatkan dunia saja. Ya. Allah said to in Ibrahim ayat 25, the fruit gives its fruit every season with the permission of its Lord. In hadis Tirmidzi, Rasulullah said, there is not gift from parent to children that it's more important than good manners. Tidak ada pemberian orang tua yang paling utama kepada anak kecuali adab yang baik. Dan Rasulullah Shallallahu Alaihi Wasallam diutus to perfect noble character. Innama bu'istu liutammima makarimal akhlaq. Next, it's the important variable in the life of child education. Kadang-kadang banyak dilupakan, yaitu keluarga, posisi keluarga. Kadang-kadang dalam pendidikan kita suka terlalu berorientasi bahwa pendidikan itu terlalu formal. Yang dikejarnya pendidikan formal. Artinya seolah-olah bahwa yang paling bertanggung jawab kepada anak didik adalah sekolah. Padahal Rasul sudah mengingatkan tentang pentingnya posisi keluarga. As he said in the one hadis, riwayat At-Tirmidzi, Ibnu Majah, and Ibnu Hibban. The best among you is the mind in relation to family, and I am the best for the family. Yang terbaik di antara kalian adalah yang berlemah lembut dalam keluarga. Dan aku adalah yang paling baik pada keluarga. Jadi ayah yang terbaik adalah ayah yang paling penyayang kepada orang tuanya, kepada anak-anaknya. Dan ayah ini memainkan peran yang sangat kuat dalam pendidikan dalam keluarga. Jadi alangkah baiknya jika dalam kegiatan moderasi pendidikan turut diperhatikan juga tentang keterlibatan keluarga dalam pendidikan anak. Jangan selalu pendidikan itu seolah-olah yang menjadi tanggung jawabnya adalah sekolah gitu. Kemudian kita bisa lihat tentang ragam potensi yang dimiliki oleh anak. I said as the multiple intelligences. Sejauh ini pandangan orang tentang kecerdasan masih bersifat single intelligent, di mana orang dikatakan pintar jika jago dalam matematik misalnya, sains, bahasa, dan lain sebagainya. Kita lupa bahwa setiap anak dia lahir with the multiple intelligences. We can see at Al-Quran surat Al-Isra 84. Say, Muhammad, each person does according to his own character. Then your Lord knows best who is more righteous in his way. Kadang-kadang kita suka terlalu berlebihan dan kita suka terlalu merasa sebagai pendidik seolah-olah perubahan itu ditentukan oleh guru. Padahal
I'm so sorry, Mr. Mubiar. Okay, because the limitation of the time, so you only have 5 more minutes. So sorry for this.
Yeah. Okay. In the other hadith, we can find that the strategic position of family. Yeah. Next. We have every one of our setiap orang yang beriman harus meyakini bahwa Islam sebagai agama yang paling benar. sebagai agama yang paling benar. Ya. Dan kita bisa dapatkan dalam beberapa hadis, misalnya hadis yang diriwayatkan oleh Imam Bukhari dan Muslim, bahwa setiap bayi yang lahir itu dalam keadaan dia fitrah. Kemudian dalam surat Al-Maidah ayat 03 kita dapati that on this day I have perfected your religion for you, and I have completed my favors for you, and I have accepted Islam as your religion. Jadi bagi kita orang Islam, orang yang seorang Muslim tetap harus meyakini bahwa Islam adalah agama yang terbaik dan kita harus imani dengan sungguh-sungguh. Ya. In the other example, we can put the passion and whole emotion in education. Itu bisa kita lihat dalam surat Al-Imran 134 dan juga hadis Bukhari. Tentang pentingnya seorang pendidik memiliki emosi dan kesabaran. Kemudian kita juga dalam pendidikan jangan lupa untuk teaching adab, ya, mengajari anak tentang adab. Kemudian kita juga dituntut sebagai pendidik untuk menyerasikan match between speech and deed. Ya. Hari ini kelihatannya keteladanan itu menjadi sesuatu yang mudah diucapkan, tapi kadang-kadang sangat mahal untuk dipraktekkan. Ya. Berikutnya ini adalah contoh-contoh dari baginda Nabi bagaimana dalam praktek pendidikan, di mana Nabi mencium anak-anak, Nabi memeluk anak-anak, Nabi tidak pernah terlupa tersenyum kepada anak. Jadi sangat ironis ya kalau kita sebagai pendidik, sebagai guru, sebagai dosen, tapi sangat sulit tersenyum kepada mahasiswa kita ya. Padahal kata Nabi, tabassumuka ala wajhi akhika sodaqah. Senyummu pada saudaramu adalah sedekah. Justru yang dilarang itu kita banyak tertawa ya. Kemudian betapa tawadunya Nabi kita bisa lihat dalam hadis yang diriwayatkan oleh Anas bin Malik, dan Anas bin Malik sebagaimana kita tahu beliau adalah pembantu Nabi ya. Jadi kita tidak ragukan lagi betapa kata Anas bin Malik, Nabi sangat sering menggauli mereka, artinya Nabi punya waktu untuk berkesempatan datang dan juga menanyakan kondisi para pembantunya. Artinya ini menjadi satu hal yang sangat penting juga, betapa pentingnya kita dengan anak-anak itu bukan hanya mengejar wilayah-wilayah yang sifatnya kognitif, tapi anak-anak juga harus kita dengarkan dinamika emosinya. Ya, ajari anak-anak untuk mencintai teman, kemudian not happy mocking ya. Sekarang ini kan lagi banyak sekali kasus bullying. Kemudian bagaimana membentuk kasih sayang ya dengan anak-anak. Kemudian memiliki care ya, memiliki kepedulian kepada anak-anak, kemudian tidak berkata kasar dan juga tidak sombong ya. Nah, ini beberapa contoh ya. Oke.
Yeah.
Oke. Ya.
Well, I'm so sorry,
thank
Mr.
you.
Mubiar. Maybe we can continue with about this
no
in
problem.
the discussion time for question and answer.
Okay. Thank you very much, Bunda Arya Septi.
Okay. Well, Dr. Mubiar Agustin, thank you for your nice paper. It also give us a new insight, yeah, about the prophetic, especially in education. Yeah, thank you. And then the next is the third speaker. Yeah, I will invite Professor Muhammad Soib Khan Patan. All right, Prof. Are you with us?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is Professor Dr. Muhammad Shoaib Khan from Pakistan. A very good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to all my, you can say, listeners, colleagues, friends, and moderators, and the directors. Thank you so much. I'm with you.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Well, I would like to read your profile first. Professor Muhammad Soib Khan Fatan is a Director, Office of Research, Innovation and Commercialization, Government College University, Hyderabad, Pakistan. He is a philosopher, economist, effective and active banker. Professor Muhammad Soib Khan Fatan has some books, yeah, and also he has more than 15 international articles, yeah. He awarded for the best survivor of the year in Cambridge University, UK in 2021, the best judge in Cambridge University, UK, the supervisor in Harvard University, and many more. So, all right, maybe we can start right now, Prof, because of the time, yeah. So I give the time for you to present your paper. Please, time is yours.
Thank you so very much. It was very nice to hear from you all. First of all, I want to congratulate here the Dr. Siti Nurjana and Dr. Mukhtar and Dr. Arya and all the organizing committee of this very nice and effective, you can say, interactive conference. I really appreciate that the listeners, students, colleagues, those who are with us will learn something from our expertise and our experience. We'll start with the name of Allah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'm moving towards my presentation. So allow me. So you can show me your thumb that when I will be audible and visible for my, you can say, presentation. So am I audible and my presentation is visible for you all?
Prof.
Okay, that's excellent. Again, with the name of Allah, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, this presentation based on, you can say, especially 2, but moreover 3 episodes of evaluation of Islamic economics and finance in context of the digital era. As an active banker, so I came through different concepts of banking systems in Pakistan, Switzerland, UK, America. They are, you can say, pronouncing the things according to their own comfort and feasibility. So definitely we are based on the Muslim country. The Muslim countries are more lenient and more, you can say, easy having access to all the customers related to the economics and finance issues. So there are different, you can say, concepts and explanations are there regarding the economics and finance. So I will try to elaborate through my presentation. Okay, after completing this module, the reader should be able to know about the fundamental principles of Islamic economics and Islamic finance. Understand the difference between the Islamic economics and modern economics, what is all about nowadays around the world. And it is very, very important that the new feature is also coming, what we are called the green and the blue economy. Next is understand the difference between Islamic finance and the conventional finance. Just like there are 2 banking systems nowadays are running around the world, conventional banking and Islamic banking. Conventional banking is all about the customer satisfaction. Islamic banking is all about related to the Islamic affairs and related issues. Understand the sources of Islamic law. Understand the basic concepts of such as Sharia, fiqh, madhiba, riba, gharar, maisir, etc. Know the evaluation, growth and development of the Islamic finance industry in different period. What is all about the introduction is economics is one of the most important aspects of human life. Economic behavior expressed in terms of economic activities involves in 3 major sectors, which is first production, distribution and consumption of goods and services. This is the round check of cycle which rotate around the world, where the barter system and earning system, you can say the debit or the credit system started. In the Islamic renders of the guidelines and economic behaviors human beings, in the last few decades that Islamic economics has witnessed a reassurance. Islamic economics and finance is not a known terminology and philosophy of the present following and the recent global financial crisis which affect the world is just because of the immense and unacceptable loans to the persons, especially the customers, those who are in system of non-return. Given its importance, module introduced subject Islamic economics and finance is being presented. This is the only reason why the financial impacts and crisis least affected the Muslim countries because we are having a very hold system and control according to the Quran and Sunnah. What is Quran and Sunnah in Islamic economics? The first two sources is the Quran. Literally, the word Quran means the recital. So clearly, one essential implementations of these designations of the Quran is that it is recitable. Therefore, the Quran is book mean to be recited. Having green and brief definition of the first source of Islamic economics, let us briefly outline the Sunnah. The term Sunnah refers to the traditions of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that include his sayings, actions, tacits, approvals. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the last messenger and the last bearer in the series of prophets and messengers. What is all about the economics and Islamic economics? Islamic economics is the knowledge of implications, injunctions, rules, Sharia, where all the rules according to the Islamic Sunnah and Quran. It is acquisition and disposal of the material resources provided for the satisfaction of the society, which related to the Quran. Allah says, but seek with that will which Allah has bestowed on you, the home of the hereafter, and forget nothing for the portion and lawful enjoyment in this world. Economic activities is all about when the economic activities are referred to. The fifth principle is very, very important in the Islamic economics, relates to the economic activities. Economic activity include the production, again, the distribution, again, the consumption. First, there should be no exploitation of the weak and poor in activity, which is definitely said according to the hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The wages of a laborer must pay to them before the sweat dries upon their body. Trade and business. The sixth principle in Islamic economics relates to the trade business, which plays a pivotal role in economics. There is, Allah has permitted the trade according to the Quran, that trading is only like riba usually, whereas Allah has permitted only the trading and forbidding riba. There are three major, you can say, factors of productions in Islamic economics, in Islamic finance, which is man, money, and commodity. How it interacts and how it rooted, it again interconnected with each other, which easily, financially, at the comfort area, they are facilitating each other at the time of their requirement, at the time of distribution, at the time of production, and at the time of services and goods. Islamic finance. What is our Islamic finance? This is the second episode of my presentation. Islamic finance is defined as a service by Islam's law and principles which comply with the sayings of Holy Quran, Hadith, and Sharia. Hadith is the narrative relating to the deeds and utterance of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sunnah refers to the habitual practice and Muhammad during his lifetime. Is the consensus among religious scholars about specific issues not investigate either the Holy Quran or Sunnah. Qiyas is the use of deduction by analogy, provide an opinion on the case study, refer to the Quran and Sunnah. Comparison with the another case referred to the Quran and Sunnah, and ijtihad represents a jurist. Independent reasoning related to the applicability of certain Sharia rules on cases not mentioned in either the Quran and Sunnah. Why Islamic finance is important? Original impetus, subsequent wider acceptance, wider consumer investment-based systems, potential universal appeal due to the ethical features, strong fundamentals, asset-based real economic activities, proven track record, and competitive return on investment. This is the reason why Islamic finance is very important, which really save out from the major factor of laws of any country, any economy, especially related to the Islamic countries where it is existed. As you knew that in Pakistan especially, every bank must open the special branch called the Islamic finance branch. Islamic finance branch is the most safest branch wider accepted by the investors because there is a least chance of risk and other factors. The rise of Islamic finance is spreading all around the world. Governments realizing its potential for profits and jobs with each other to create the best regulatory and supportive framework for it. Research and analysis, as you knew that in the 1970s, the commercial banks, then there is a different two projects are introduced in 1980s. What is all about the commercial banking, project finance and syndications. In 1990s, commercial banking, finance syndications, equity and ijara. This is the turning point where all things are introduced very roughly and easily from the 90s. When you up to the 2000, commercial banking again, project finance, equity funds, ijara, sukuk bonds, structured alternative assets, and definitely from the 2005 plus, all the systems are easily accepted because it's worth a very profitable, safe, secure, risk-less things are introduced. Evolution of institutional framework, how it attracts. It started from 1963, where the first Islamic bank established in Egypt. Secondly, in 1975, with interconnect with each other, and all the Muslim countries are helping out each other in a broader, smaller, and advanced way. How? Dubai Islamic Bank established under special law pioneering Islamic banking in the region. As you all knew that Muslim countries, especially Middle East, they are introducing a very, you can say, easy law special related to the Islamic banking regions around the world, where it started into the 1985, a Fiqh Council of Organization of Islamic Countries declares Takaful is fully Islamic, paving to the way for Islamic insurance flourish. According to the auditing and organizations of Islamic financial institutions established in 1991, the institute acts a nodal body advising on standards to be followed by Islamic institutions worldwide. Today, it is an exemplary system that it really helps all the Muslim, non-Muslim, and any religion person who won't invest with the risk factor systems. Again, there is a more than 100% risk-free systems are introduced. Even a bank like Mizan Bank in Pakistan, they are having 100% return in terms of profit, in terms of, you can say, a safe side, or in terms of any risk factor related to the customers. Islamic finance global coverage, where all the countries are now representing and having interest in Islamic financing and introducing in a broader way. As you, according to the picture, in Germany issued first Islamic bond in 2004. UK new resolution legislations for Islamic mortgage in 2003. In Japan, exploring Islamic financing opportunities in 2006. UAE, 30% of the retail banking is Islamic in 2005. Saudi Arabia, 95% of the new customers lending to the Islamic. China, again, active member of Islamic Finance Services since 2004. These are the primary, secondary, and tertiary areas according to this picture. Target market Muslim populations. There are approximately 1.6 billion Muslims worldwide, around 24% of the total world's population. According to the Indonesia, 195, Pakistan 158, and again our neighboring country, brother country, India, with the 155 Muslim populations. At the end, I will elaborate in the smallest way that Islamic finance is defined as a financial services principally implemented to comply with the main tenets of Sharia. In turn, the main sources of Sharia are the Holy Quran, Hadith, Sunnah, Ijma, Qiyas, and Ijtihad. The main principles of Islamic finance include the provision and riba and the removal of debt-based financing from the economy. The provision of gharar, encompassing the full disclosure of information and removal of any asymmetrical information in a contract. The exclusion of financing and dealing with the sinful and socially irresponsible activities in communities such as gambling, casinos, production of alcohol, etc. Risk sharing. The provider of financial funds and the entrepreneur shares business risk in return. The shares of profits and loss. Materially and financially, transactions need to have a material finality. That is all about the direct and indirect link with the economic transitions. Justice, financial transactions should not lead to the exploitations of any party to the transaction. This is all from my side. Thank you so very much. It will be more beautiful when you will ask the questions. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Muhammad Soaib Kanpatan, for your nice presentation. Well, the next is I will invite our last speakers today, Professor Atul Patil. Are you with us?
Yeah, very much. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Professor. Before you present your paper, I would like to read your profile first. Well, Professor Atul Patil is a director at School of Holistic Development, head of School of Humanities, MIT Art, Design and Technology University, Pune, India. Professor Atul Patil is certified trainer and speaking examiner for Cambridge English Language Assessment, part of University of Cambridge, UK. He has been nominated as International Goodwill Ambassador for Abundance Consulting Academy, Republic of Benin, and International Advisory Board member. His areas of interest include e-learning, computer-assisted language learning. Well, actually, there are still many more. Yeah, if I have to read all your CV, the time is not enough. So I invite you to present your work, your paper. Please take your time, Prof.
Yeah, thank you very much, Professor Arya, for that warm welcome and kind introduction. I must place on record my sincere thanks for this wonderful opportunity. And being the last speaker, there are disadvantages as well as advantages. Disadvantage is that we don't have all the speakers, listeners, but the advantage is only those who are interested, those who are patient and active listeners are here with us. So I'm going to throw some light on this very interesting topic under the theme of this international conference, because when we talk about the field of education, we are the torch bearers to impart value-based education, and especially when students move from college to corporate. Because nowadays what we see is education is like the input is money and the output is educational degrees. But along with this, we also need to ensure that we are able to build good nation through education, because as Nelson Mandela said, that destroying any nation, we don't require atomic bombs or missiles. It only requires the degradation of quality in education, because if that happens, then probably we might have patients dying at the hands of such doctors, or buildings collapsing at the hands of such engineers, or even money that we lose at the hands of such economists, or humanity dying at the hands of religious scholars, because justice is lost at the hands of such judges. And therefore, the collapse of education is the collapse of nation. And if we want our nation to stand still, firm, with pride, education is something which we must focus on, because there are many difficulties when we talk of our students, our learners, like they have 19th century mindset, 20th century's process, but 21st century's needs. And we as teachers need to cover all of them. We, of course, on the other hand, have shortage of qualified teachers or not well-defined roles of faculty. And of course, other things that you see on the screen, be it political willingness to bring changes, or capturing global talent, or lack of participative culture, and highly complex and unclear regulatory framework. So, and even government regulations. So these are the challenges, the difficulties that we face. And we might have different aspirations, inspirations, but one goal, that is to make this place a better world for all of us to live. Because when we look at the earth, we as human beings look at the earth as the formation of different countries or geographical places. But what really earth is, what we see on the screen. And therefore, if we look at this through education, we can impart holistic education where our children are physically fit, emotionally strong, mentally alert, and most importantly, spiritually elevated. Why do we need holistic development, which is value-based education? Because the overall thrust of curriculum and pedagogy can move the education systems towards real understanding of how learning can take place. Because the aim of education should not only be cognitive development, but building personalities, and in fact, beyond personalities, that is building characters, and therefore creating winning personalities in the 21st century is the need of the hour. And specific set of skills and values across various domains, right from preschool to higher education, we need to think of, because each person needs to uh, go through education and find his or her identity, potential, passion, through which he can connect with the community, with the world, and take the value based education ahead. Because education means engaging and developing the overall personality. And therefore, all these aspects of physical development, emotional, cognitive, linguistic, and spiritual development, these things really play very important role. Now, why holistic education? Because a variety of studies carried out all over the world have focused on holistic approaches to education, be it early childhood education or even higher education. All these aspects of being physically fit, emotionally strong, and the well-being of a child play very crucial role. And the research studies are very compelling, because even persons with average IQ, that is intellectual intelligence, but with high EQ, that is emotional intelligence, they are more successful compared to those having good IQ. So these are the studies which have proved that along with our formal education, we also need to ensure that we are able to impart holistic education. Because as it is said that if wealth is lost, nothing is lost. When health is lost, something is lost. But if character is lost, everything is lost. And therefore, we need to have holistic education, value-based education. And the same is reiterated or suggested by prophetic education, where it is said that everyone who wants to seek the path of knowledge, God will always support. Because now we as teachers, our role is like teachers as rasuls, because we need to impart this training, and we are like the messengers of the God. And therefore shaping the character, and not late but at an early stage, is very important. And for that we need to plan, we need to come together as different stakeholders or policy makers, and we need to plan how this holistic education can be imparted effectively. Otherwise, only goals without plans will be our wishes. And therefore, when students especially move from college to corporate, they need to apply different gears. It's like driving their careers. And when you drive a car, for example, you change gears. So these are the 5 gears that I'm going to talk about today in my presentation, moving from learning to applying, solving, creating, and ultimately earning. So from learning to earning, how students need to focus on a variety of aspects when we talk of holistic, value-based, prophetic education. So learning is something that we all must keep on doing continuously, because if we stop learning, whether we are at our 20s or at our 80s, we become old. So if we want to keep ourselves young, we must keep on learning. It's a lifelong process, and therefore learning, usually there is much learning, but when it comes to output, there is less output that we see. And therefore, most of the time learning takes place only when it is necessary for us to learn something. But additionally, if I have interest, passion, or motivation about a particular topic or area, I find learning becoming a very easy process. So it is a process that we need to do. And as part of learning, if we also teach whatever we learn, that is like learning, twice whatever we teach. And we must help our learners transform themselves from being a dependent learner to be an independent learner, because learners are responsible for their own learning. And we also need to ensure that there is smart and active learning. And for that, learners as well as teachers have to make their brains work for themselves respectively. And we need to remember that ideas are funny. They don't work unless we work on them. And therefore, these 21st century skills that we talk about, critical thinking, communication, collaboration, and creativity, can be the best ways in which we can impart this holistic education. Because as it is said that the literate of the 21st century are not going to be those who cannot read or write, but those who don't know how to learn, how to relearn, and probably also unlearn as part of this process. So learning, unlearning, and relearning are very essential when we apply this first gear in the journey when we move from college to corporate. Now, while learning, we might even develop some kind of anxiety or fear. So it can have two meanings. One could be forget everything and run, FEAR, or the positive meaning could be face everything and rise. That is how we are going to learn and develop ourselves. So we need to boost confidence among our students. We need to help them realize their potential and help them see what they can do. And if we are able to boost their confidence like this, we will be able to see them fly higher and higher in the sky of success. Now, when we learn, for example, these 4 lines, and if I ask you to count letter F in these 4 lines, most of you would say that there are 3 Fs, right? But the reality is there are 6. And now that happens because we don't count preposition of. So learning is, therefore, there is always scope for improvement. And what happens is we have so much to learn, but we have very less time to learn because we do many other activities also. For example, if you have a saving account in a bank, and if there is an offer that every day early in the morning, 86,400 rupees would be credited to your account, and you can withdraw as much money as you want, but only one condition is there. That is, you must spend that money for yourself. You can't give it to charity. You can't give it to anyone. You can't even save it for the future. You have to spend it. So when we talk of $86,400 or rupees, we will ensure that we spend as much money as possible every day, because midnight the balance would be 0. Next day, again early in the morning, I will get $86,400 credited to my account. So when I talk of money, we will ensure that, or even if I have this offer, I will ensure that I utilize as much money as possible. But what is this 86,400? We have 24 hours in a day, and 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. And if we count these seconds, every day, God credits 86,400 seconds to our account, which I cannot give it to anybody. I can't save them for the future. Once time is gone, it is like the flow of river, water. Once it's gone, it's gone. I can't, take it back. And therefore, when we learn, we need to remember that we have very little time. Even if we say that 70 years of lifespan today, that is also very less, because if I take rest at night for 8 hours every night, 25 years of my life, I only and only sleep. So out of 70, 25 gone. Education, rest, illness, traveling, another 15 years gone. I'm left with only 30 years. Every day we eat. So an average person spends 5 years of his life eating breakfast, brunch, lunch, whatever you call it. And then we spend around 3 years in washroom, 6 years holidays, and the list can go on and on. A simple example, like A typical scenario in every house is you want to start the television. The problem is you can't find remote. So everybody in the house starts looking for a remote. And a study has proved that an average person spends minimum of 3 weeks of his life only looking for a television remote control. So you can imagine how much time we spend, how much time we spend on social media, and the list can go on. And therefore, we think that 70 years is a very long period, lifespan, but we are left with hardly 5 to 6 years in which I need to do something for myself, something for my family, for the society, for the country, for the nation, for the world at large. So when I am going to do, and therefore we as teachers need to bring this to the notice of our learners and tell them that they must be smart learners. They must be creative learners. And when we talk of creativity, we restrict ourselves to the specific context or the region or the country where we live. But creativity has no boundaries. It can go beyond the world also. Look at this, for example, the person is holding a piece of wood in his hand. And if the question is, what will happen to the piece of wood if the person leaves his fingers? What will happen? The natural answer that each one of us would give is that the piece of wood will fall. But this is not the only answer, because when we look at this problem creatively, when we go beyond the definition of the problem, we understand that if the person is holding the piece of wood and standing on the earth, because of the gravitational force, it will fall. But if the person is holding the piece of wood and is underwater, the piece of wood will float to the surface. And if the person is into the space, neither the wood nor the person will move. So the answer depends on where the person is standing. So we can think of the remaining two answers only when we look at this question very creatively beyond the definitions. That is why learning is very crucial. That is the first gear. And if you apply your first gear effectively, you can drive a car easily. Then you need to apply the second gear. Whatever I learn as a student, I now need to apply that to solve problems around me. Now whenever people learn and if they apply wrongly, like this place is meant to park a vehicle and there is a pole constructed exactly in the middle of the street. Two different departments, no communication. So look at how they are applying their knowledge. How do you enter this house? How can you use this escalator? If you open this door, you might find yourself in a hospital. How do you go to the balcony that you see at the bottom? Look at this, no planning. Average height of a person, then installation of the machine should have been done. The person has to literally jump. Here the person has to literally sit on the ground to operate the machine. How do you enter these houses? Two different teams working on the same project, but no communication. And therefore they applied their knowledge, but they didn't apply it together. But if we look at the nature, especially look at birds, which school, which engineering college do they go to? Look at how the sparrow is able to build such a beautiful nest without having any engineering knowledge, civil engineering or any other degree. So that is the art that we need to develop. And therefore, if we look at education as an art more than science, I think we will be able to help our students, have better education, because the basic economic source is no longer going to be only capital or natural or labor resources, but it is going to be knowledge. And with knowledge, we can bring many changes to the world, because real learning will not take place unless our students know how to apply what they learn. And therefore, application of knowledge is very crucial. Only when they learn and apply the knowledge, the magic can be seen, because knowledge is power, but the correct application of knowledge is very important part. And knowledge will have no value. I learn something and I know it for myself, so it is not going to have any value unless I know how to put it in practice. And therefore application is must. And application, when we talk of applying our knowledge, knowledge is like paint. It will not do any good unless it is applied. So that is how we have to apply our knowledge. and then move to the third gear, that is the gear of solving problems. Because we are surrounded with many problems, be it personality, character, or even value-based education, or even employability skills. There are many problems, and these problems we need to solve. For example, here is a problem. You are stuck in the middle of a room of 3-roomed house. The middle room you are in only has a window fitted with iron grills. The rooms on either side have doors to exit the house, and the room on the left has 2 assassins who are ready to kill you the moment you enter their room. The room on the right is fitted with solar-powered UV laser guns that kill on sight. So how will you escape? Of course, because of paucity of time, I will not check your responses. The answer is go out through the exit of the room on your right at night, because since the UV lasers are solar powered, they will not work during the night. So that is how we mean solving problems. Another problem, if I ask you which direction is the bus going, right or left, right? So I need to put myself into the shoes of the listeners, for example, when I speak. Similarly, if I have to get into this bus, what is the first thing? I will look for the door. Now, if I can't see the door of the bus this side, that means the door of the bus must be the other side. So that means the bus is going to the right side because the door is on the left side. So that is how we can solve problems. We can come up with multiple solutions. Our plan A might not work. We need to have plan B. And even if plan B doesn't work, we should not forget that the letters of the alphabet are 26. So A, B, C up to Z, we can go on and try to solve problems. But we usually want to solve problems individually, sitting at home, doing everything on the screen. But each and every field now requires us to collaborate with people, to solve problems with others. And that is why after we solve problems, then we can create knowledge. So our responsibility is not only to understand the past and enjoy the present, but think of the future. What new knowledge I can contribute and make, because creation of knowledge with creativity, invention, and innovation are very essential. So creation of knowledge is very essential. In this journey, the plan might look very simple, but the reality is we might have many ups and downs. But unless we have innovation in education, it is of no value. And that is what we did in the lockdown when we moved from offline classes to online. Whatever resources were available, we utilized them without making any complaint. We ensured that the processes of learning and teaching continue. So if we could do that during the lockdown with such innovative ideas, we need to bring that creativity among our students. Our students were also very creative, but like this. So they are creative, but they are not channelizing their creativity. Our today's learners are digitally, they're digital immigrants, digital natives, whereas we are digital immigrants. They're always connected. They believe in self-directed learning. They want to carry out many experiments. And because of the advancement in technology or influence of technology in education, the future learning will be exploring and global. There would be adaptive and personalized learning, but it is less predictable because we will have hyper competitive environment. And look at the size of the computers. They will be small like coins or wearable computers like our wristwatches. And the teacher will not be the only source of knowledge, and it has already started happening. And class might have students from different countries joining together, and faculty and students working together to solve difficult problems. And we probably will forget even how to hold a pen and write on a piece of paper. And education might be free, but please remember, personal guidance will, will be costly. And we should not get surprised if people start using such language. Rather than calling for help, the person is shouting F1, F1, F1. So advancement in technology have drastically changed the way we learn and the way we teach. If this is what happened in the last 25 years, we must now think of the next 25 years at least, and how the field of education, holistic education, value-based education, are going to take a move that we need to understand, because as Albert Einstein said, that we need to provide conditions in which students can learn, and that will happen only when we make our students as producers of information rather than only consumers of information. Because education is not only learning the facts, but the training of the mind to think, and that development of mind is very important, because gone are the days where we had limited resources. Today we have multiple resources. The only thing is we don't know how to use them. And if we don't know how to use them, this is what will happen. So let us not repent on something that is beyond our control. For example, the pencil is broken. I should not cry. I should not repent. I should not, blame anybody who has broken it. I can look at it positively, that now instead of one, I now have two pencils. I can sharpen the second part and I can even start using that. So that is how we can look at life effectively, positively. And we also need to keep global changes which are happening in mind when we develop our students as winning personalities, because the future is created by what we do today and not what we are going to do tomorrow. And the last, that is the final gear. Once you follow all these gears from learning, application, creation, everything, then you just need to remove the letter L from the word learn and you automatically earn. In this process, we only need to keep in mind that we should never give up, because if we give up, we might be a couple of inches away from success, and therefore never giving is the ultimate solution. So these 5 gears play a very important role, but only having good gears in my car is not going to help me for a good driving. I also need to have a good coordination among A, B, C, that is accelerator, brakes, and clutch. And they, in this context, stand for attitude, behavior, and communication. I need to have a good blend of these, and then I need to balance the 5 gears and these 3 A, B, C. If I'm able to balance it, then I'll be able to have this holistic development which focuses on physical well-being, emotional, social, and psychological well-being. Holos, which is a Greek word, means wholesome personality, where we take care of all these aspects and develop our students as winning personalities, because the head, heart, and hands that they are going to use, these 3 H, if we train them, if we nurture them, and if we shape them, I think we can transform this world very effectively. Because holistic education that we impart, for example, at our university, we follow this Panchakosh approach, which deals with physical, energy, mental, intellectual, and happiness, that is bliss, these aspects. Accordingly, we have designed our courses, and if we focus on this, I think value-based education will be the new normal. And we also have this World Peace Dome at our campus in the university, which focuses on Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the whole world as one family, and every religion for that matter gives us many good things that we can follow. So we can have an eclectic approach that we can follow and make this prophetic education or value-based education the reality, as well as an ideal platform where teachers become magicians and learners become future global change makers. So with this, I thank all of you for your active listening. Thank you very much for this opportunity once again. Professor Arya, over to you. Thank you. Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, well, thank you very much, Professor Atul Patil, for giving us such informative and interesting presentation. It's so nice to see your slides and also, of course, the content of your material. Well, because the 4 presenters already presented their paper presentation, and then we come to the next session, that is question and answer. Well, in chat box, we have one question, and this is for Dr. Patil. Yeah, from Dr. Holis Amrullah. Here, Yeah. He wrote, I mentioned Jack Sparrow words. We have fight to run away. And the questions, how holistic education that applied in Islamic science. So I think Professor Atul Patil, you can answer this question first because I know that you
Thank
are
you very
in hurry.
much
Thank you.
thank you very much for summing up the presentation and also taking up the questions that we have in the chat box. As Professor Kohlis is asking, I think that is about when I talked the concept of fear, forget everything and run. That is one choice, and the other choice is face everything and rise. So the choice is ours. We need to remember that depending on the output, see, because we as teachers do not teach for income. We don't teach for income, we teach for outcome. Similarly, anything that we do in our life, I need to remember what is the output that I'm going to have. So if the output is going to help me, then I can take the choice that I will face it, I will fight, I will go ahead with my decision. But if it is not going to help me with any good output, then I can run away. So the choice is ours, and we are mature enough to take such decision. The second part of her, the question is how holistic education that applied in Islamic science. See, holistic education is your overall, wholesome personality. So it is not only restricted to one particular religion or context or a country. It focuses on, for example, global scenario, global context, and be it Islamic science or even Hindu, Christian, or any other science or education system for that matter, we can bring this concept of holistic education. For example, at our university, we have School of Holistic Development, where we conduct health practices lectures, where we take our students to sports complex every day in the morning for 2 hours. So we have health, under which we have swimming, gym, we have physical training, we have yoga, we have meditation. Even we plan our students' diet. We also provide them counseling. Then we also conduct English communication and holistic personality program, where we offer Cambridge certification. Then in second year, we have creative and performing arts, under which we have 20 electives like dance, drama, music, singing, spirituality. Then we have digital literacy, financial literacy, event management, photography, or playing musical instruments like the tabla, the guitar, the harmonium, and the list goes on like this. So the student has to select one course out of these 20 and continue. For example, students from engineering last semester opted for drama maximum. So we have drama as an elective. Engineers are interested in performing arts. So that is something which we focus on. And then in the third year, we offer them foreign languages like French, German, Japanese, and Spanish. So with these such courses, let the student go anywhere all over the world. That is how he can bring much transformation in the field of education as well as his professional career. So therefore, in every field, in every applied area, we can apply this holistic education concept. So the sky is the limit. I hope I was able to answer this question.
Well, thank you very much, Professor Atul Patil, for your answer. Yeah, so holistic education is also right now implemented in Indonesia, yeah, for the whole of education level, yeah, especially for university or higher education. We have a special term for this as Merdeka Belajar Kampus Merdeka. This is the term in Indonesia for holistic education. Thank you very much for your informative explanation.
Yeah, thank you. As
Okay. Well, I
Professor
invite
Kohlis,
the next questioner. Okay, well, we have one question from Mr. Dedi Irwansa, Professor Dedi Irwansa. Okay, please, Professor Dedi.
Thank you very much, invited speakers. I think my question goes to Professor Iklimul. Okay. Yeah, your presentation was very insightful, especially when you talk about class civilization from Huntington, in that you point out the essentialism and grand narratives and binary opposition. What happened in my case is that I used to believe that following the binary opposition theories and the post-colonial approach that let me tell you first that my major was English language education. I believe that sometimes English language education is a tool or a means for the West to reproduce, legitimize, and perpetuate West hegemony. When we talk about binary opposition, West and East. And just only yesterday, I talked to my colleague in the West that I used to believe that the post-colonial approach, especially the binary opposition, but when we come to into the real world, when I collaborate with the colleague from the West, okay, I just couldn't see the binary opposition itself. And the second one is that because from my standing point, I mean, from the prophetic values itself, I was taught that Islam really appreciates language diversities, color diversities, and intercultural awareness. So my point is that what I have read so far about the binary opposition and what I faced in the real world is something like not in line one another. So my question to Professor Iklimul, is it just me that couldn't see that the grand narratives or the binary opposition really exists in nowadays life in this open world? Okay, I think that's all, Prof. Iklimul. But I really want to say that your presentation, your knowledge reminds us, most of us here remind us about Professor Irwan Abdullah. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Dedi, and I invite Professor Hakimul to respond this question.
Thank you very much, Bu Arya, Pak Dedi. Yeah, thank you very much for the comment and your response and feedback to my presentation. And since you are studying language, and you also, of course, not only studying language but also the culture, yeah, of the English-speaking countries, and you notice very well about the problem, or at least in my view, yeah, Pak Dr. Dedi, current development, yeah. When you say that you cannot see anymore the division, the separation between the West and the East, I think it is very much the fact of our today's life. Yeah. For instance, when we go to Dubai, for instance, yeah, it is very Western. I mean, whatever what you want to find in the West, you can find it in Dubai. Yeah, but at the same time, Pak Dedi, when we go to UK, for instance, nowadays the most popular names for boys in the UK is Muhammad. Muhammad in different spell, yeah, Muhammad, Mohammed, Mo, and kind of all this with the different writing spelling is the most popular name in the UK. Yeah, in the UK. So you are right. I think we are now in a situation where the West is no longer in the West. We can find West in the East, and at the same time, we also can find East in the West. Yeah, you're right. But in many ways, in many instances, we can still easily find the binary, I think. Yeah, the binary. For instance, when we talk about radicalism, for instance, yeah, terrorism, it's clear division. Yeah. I experienced many times, Pak Dedi and all the audience, with my name Ikhwan, Hakimul Ikhwan, the name Ikhwan. Many times when I went to Western countries, I need to stop yeah, in the airplane doors before coming to the airplane, not in the waiting room. Yeah, I experienced many, they call it random check. But even before I come into the airplane, in the door of the airplane, I still been stopped by the crew. And I believe it is not because a random, yeah, it is because of Ikhwan in the back of my name. Yeah, I experienced this many times when I went to Australia, for instance, yeah, to America, yeah, and I then in this situation, I try to internalize the experience that it is not me as a person. Yeah, there is no problem with me. It is not my problem. It is more or less related to my name, and not only my name, but also the association to the name. Yeah, so that's the trace ya. Mungkin masih ada jejak-jejaknya ya. The trace of the previous binary opposition, but also Pak Dedi and the audience, the very serious problem with the algorithm, with the computer, it used the binary. It used yes and no. There is no second, the third rooms. Yeah. Kalau logic computer, the logic of the algorithm is yes and no, 0 and 1. Yeah. And it's still very much adapted from the positivism, right? And we use it as a basis, the foundation of algorithm. Yeah, algoritma computer, yeah, 0 and 1. That's what I can respond back to your comment, Pak Dedi. Thank you very much for the comment. But Arya, that's for me.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you for Akimul. Well, Mr. Dedi, would you like to respond this?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think that's an interesting answer. We can find West in the East, and we also can find East in the West. And because the world is now so very open, can I say that yes, to many extents that the binary doesn't exist any longer, but in certain fields, like when we talk about radicalism, terrorism, the traces of binary are still there. Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Hakimul Ikhwan. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Dedi. Well, we still have question here in chat box from Ibu Sarah Ayu Ramadhani, and the question is for Professor Patil and Professor Mubair. The question is how to apply science by inserting prophetic ideas in the midst of so many negative things in the digital era. So, Mr. Mubair, would you like to answer first?
Okay,
And then the second will be Professor Atul Fatil. Okay, please.
Yeah, there is a lot of sample we can take from the profile of our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in everything, not the only science. Yeah, and we can implement it in education, our education in every level. Yeah, For me, the example, my expert is in early childhood education and elementary education. Yeah. The example one, hadis Nabi that said, teach your children how to swim, how to ride the horse, then memanah. It's the concrete sample that our prophet talk about science, not directed, yeah, not directed talk about science, but in this hadith we can find the really indicator about science learning, but more the only science learning. It's for the example, yeah, and many other example for prophetic education in field, yeah, in field. And you and now I on writing the book on the chapter menengok kehidupan baginda Nabi Muhammad SAW bersama anak-anak. Now it's still finishing, yeah. I write. I mean, in this opportunity, I want to say that let's not the only prophetic education in theory, but we have to brief to make the prophetic education in field or in application. And everyone can do it because we are umat Nabi Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Yeah. That is what I can ensure for this for the comment. Thank you, Bunda Arya.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Mubiar, for your response. And then we come to Professor Atul Patil, please.
Yeah, I'll be very brief in my answer. I second the views expressed by Professor Mubiar. See, challenges are always going to be there. So when we talk of negative things in the digital era, unless we have challenges, we will not have any opportunity, because challenges come with opportunities. And when we talk of negative things in digital era, yes, technology is like a double-edged sword. If we harness it, we can, find it very useful. But if we misuse it, it can create more harm to us. And therefore, we as educators, as well as, philosophers, need to come together and bring this, to the table for discussion, how these ideas could be incorporated in the field of education, be it prophetic ideas or value-based education or holistic education. I think the direct approach might not help. We need to have an indirect approach. For example, when we offer a course called Spirituality and Morality, our youth will not even appreciate these two words. The moment I go to the classroom and I say, today we are going to talk about spirituality or morality. So what we do is we indirectly, without using even these two words, we indirectly involve the students in the process of solving some social problems and coming to the conclusion that we need to have a blend of these social, spiritual, or philosophical or religious aspects. So we follow the deductive approach. We don't begin with theories. We don't even use these terms. We indirectly impart training, and then conclusion is something that they come up with. So I think if we follow this approach, we would be in a position to overcome this. Don't we do that with our children at home? We do that similar approach we can follow even in our classroom setting or environment. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Prof. Atul Patil. This is also clearly explained by you in your presentation, I guess, yeah, just now, from your illustration. Well, we still have another question. This is from Dr. Muhammad Irfan Nurhab. And the question is for Professor Muhammad Soaib Khan. Are you with us, Prof? Hello, Prof. Okay, because the question is about economics, yeah, and he is the expert of this. Maybe I will give the question directly for him, yeah, later, and I give the answer also to Dr. Irfan directly. Well, okay, we still have one more question in chat box. Oh, and still 2 questions. From Farida Sumilan, I think this is for Professor Mubiar. Can you respond this question from Farida Sumilan? Mutu merupakan tujuan utama lembaga pendidikan. Untuk mendapatkan mutu yang baik, biasanya pihak sekolah akan menekan siswa dalam KBM. Ditambah lembaga tersebut ada boarding school yang juga menuntut siswanya untuk mencapai target. Untuk mewujudkan tujuan itu, siswa yang jadi korban dengan banyaknya tuntutan dan yang jelas kebebasan siswa tidak diberikan. Kadang anak juga stres dengan ditunjukkannya sikap membantah dan keras, entah dengan sesama siswa atau dengan gurunya. Pertanyaannya, lembaga seperti itu banyak kita jumpai. Bagaimana cara untuk mengingatkan lembaga tersebut supaya tidak menekan siswanya? Silakan, Prof.
Syukron jazilan Bunda Arya, kemudian kepada Bunda yang bertanya. Salah satu kelemahan saya sangat sulit mengingat nama ya. Mohon maaf ya.
Mbak Farida.
Bunda Farida, terima kasih silaturahimnya. Ya. Ini kan bukan lagi case, it's not case. Ini adalah fenomena yang banyak terjadi secara masif. Ya. Apalagi kalau Bunda Farida bisa cek di pendidikan anak usia dini. Itu yang banyak komplain supaya anak itu bisa baca tulis hitung, itu orang tuanya. Orang tua kadang-kadang kurang empati bahwa yang belajar itu anak usia dini mereka gitu. Ya. Nah, ini poin yang sangat penting tentang perlunya kegiatan parenting, tentang perlunya pelibatan orang tua dalam kegiatan pembelajaran. Makanya perlu ada sekolah untuk orang tua itu. Sehingga orang tua bisa berempati. Kalau tidak ada empati seperti ini, maka nanti kita akan memandang bahwa kita seolah-olah punya hak prerogatif kepada anak yang kita lahirkan. Padahal anak yang kita lahirkan itu merupakan titipan. Bukan makhluk yang semena-mena bisa kita ubah dan kita bisa pola sedemikian rupa. Ya. Makanya tadi dalam paparan saya sampaikan tentang bagaimana kita membangkitkan kembali peran keluarga di dalam pendidikan. Tentang pentingnya berlemah lembut kepada anak-anak. Ya, Bunda Arya dan Bunda Farida bisa simak mungkin hari ini betapa banyak anak-anak yang terlibat dalam bullying, dalam tawuran, dalam seks bebas dan lain sebagainya. Setelah coba kita identifikasi, salah satu problematikanya adalah anak-anak itu jarang diajak untuk berbicara dan didengar. Ya, padahal anak-anak itu butuh didengar, butuh mereka untuk mendapatkan curhatan. Kita perlu mendengar curhatan dari mereka. Dalam rumus yang paling sederhana, anak-anak itu belum pernah menjadi kita, tapi kita sebagai orang tua pernah menjadi mereka. Maka kita perlu empati. Maka tadi poin yang pertama, saya pikir harus kita hidupkan kembali kegiatan parenting. Yang kedua, pelibatan orang tua atau pelibatan keluarga dalam pendidikan. Jangan terlalu dikapling-kaplingkan bahwa ini pendidikan formal, ini non formal, ini formal. Ya. Kemudian perlu disadarkan gitu bahwa anak-anak itu lahir walaupun dari orang tua dan ibu yang identik, tapi kemampuan mereka berbeda. Saya yakin apakah saudara Bunda Arya jago bahasa Inggris seperti Bunda Arya? Saya pikir mungkin tidak. Ya, mungkin dari saudara-saudara yang dilahirkan bersama Bunda Arya ada yang satu jago matematik, satu jago olahraga, satu jago sains dan lain sebagainya. Dan itu dalam Quran sudah ditegaskan sebagaimana tadi sudah saya sampaikan. Satu di surat Al-Isra ayat 84, kullu ya'malu ala syakilati rabbukum a'lamu biman huwa ahda sabila. Kemudian hadis yang diriwayatkan dari Bukhari dan Muslim ya, menggambarkan bahwa al-mu'minu lil mu'mini kal bunyani yashuddu ba'duhum ba'du. Seorang yang beriman satu dengan yang lainnya itu bagaikan jari jemari dan Rasul memperagakan dengan jari jemarinya. Sekarang coba diangkat jari jemarinya Bang Jumaro. Apakah jempol semua? Kan tidak ya. Kalau jempol semua gimana abang bisa ngupil dengan enak ya? Apalagi dengan jempol kaki, kan tidak mungkin. Justru diciptakan itu beragam ya. Ada ibu jari, ya, ada kelingking dan lain sebagainya. Itu supaya kita belajar bahwa keragaman itu merupakan sebuah anugerah yang sangat luar biasa. Bahwa anak-anak diberikan keragaman kemampuan itu merupakan sebuah anugerah yang sangat luar biasa. Dan tidak rame dong. Bagaimana kalau pendidikan itu hanya pembelajaran sains saja, tidak ada olahraga, tidak ada seni dan lain sebagainya. Ya. Barangkali itu sedikit jawaban dari Pak Mubi untuk Bunda Farida. Mudah-mudahan kita bisa memberikan kontribusi untuk kebaikan pendidikan kita, supaya kita bisa memiliki anak-anak yang soleh dan soleha. Barakallahu fiik wallahu a'lam bishawab. Terima kasih Bunda.
Ya. Terima kasih Prof. Mubiar, sangat jelas ya Bu Farida ya. Semoga bisa memahami jawaban dari Prof. Mubiar. And then we come to the last question in this session. This is the question from Ibu Nofriani MPD for Professor Hakimul. The question is, how could prophetic values be applied for generation if many generation used technology for negative things and they think that technology is just for entertainment, not for education? How to face these problems? Please, Prof. Hakimul.
Okay, thank you, Mbak Arya. And Ibu Noprianti, thank you for the question. First of all, answering this question, technology in its history, over 100 years, 1,000 years, is intended for better life, human life. The intention, although the result is not always meet the objective, the main purpose. I mean that the technology, the development of technology has brought us to this modern civilization. So I mean the technology will not always, as you mentioned here, how if the technology is just for entertainment. For some people, yes, but I believe for many other people, they will take other advantage, other useful side of the technology. Yeah. And again, back to your question about how can be applied in that type of generation where technology is only used for entertainment, for instance. That's the situation that you mentioned here about the generation always busy with entertainment. That indicate. Jadi menurut saya justru itu menunjukkan prophetic values getting more relevant for them. Semakin masyarakat hedon, semakin masyarakat hanya berhibur, berparti gitu ya. The more they seek for the entertainment, I think the more prophetic values is relevant, because as we know that the main objective of the prophethood, kenabian, and the prophetic values is to bring human to achieve its very fundamental, foundational character of human. Jadi menemukan jati diri sosok manusia itu sendiri. And according to Ibnu Khaldun, Ibnu Khaldun said that actually we don't need a prophet. Kita nggak butuh nabi, because we have already the potential in our self that can guide us. Jadi sebenarnya nggak perlu nabi karena kita sudah punya kompas yang bisa menuntun kita, kata Ibnu Khaldun bukan kata saya. Cuman the problem is not all of us able to maximize the potential. Tidak semua kita bisa mengoptimalisasi potensi itu. And only very limited number of people, human, that has a gift to things, to really find a God and guide themselves to the good ways, to the proper ways, yeah. And because of that, then we need a prophet. So from this, I want to say that actually we already in ourselves, yeah, and everybody in every of us, we already have actually the potential, yeah, the we'll say the compass, yeah. In Al-Quran, the term fu'ad, yeah, the compass, the potential in ourselves, and there is a tendency that we are prefer to ma'ruf, ya. Ada tendensi kita memang lebih suka pada yang baik, yang bagus, yang indah, ya. All of this potential for us to then prefer the prophetic value, ya. We don't want to say wasting our time. We want to make our time more useful, maslahah, manfaah. This is the basic tendencies, then come to the relevancies of prophetic values. Yeah, Bu Novriani, that's I think my response, yeah, to your question about how we deal with that generation.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Hakimul. Well, I'm so sorry because just now I told you that the last question is the last one, but we still have one for you, and it must be the list, yeah. The question is how to overcome with the misleading and disrupt the image and purity of Islam. Meanwhile, Western thinkers view Islam as culture product, but in the fact, religion and culture are two but related, but both are different. This is from Diyar Alfia for Professor Hakimul.
Okay, maybe very brief response to this. You are right that there are problem of misunderstanding. Yeah, you call here misleading of the understanding of Islam. You are right that Islam is oneself, culture is another. When, for instance, many Western thinks that Islam is not appropriating women rights, for instance, the fact that that many Muslim society, they very promote, yeah, they very support the right of women, for instance. So it is not about the Islam. And also related to the democracy, for instance, it is not the problem with Islam, because Islam or democracy developed in many, at least in Turkey, in Indonesia, and the issue is not about Islam. And in the history, in Al-Quran, we have the story, the history, or the story of Ratu Bilqis, yeah, Queen of Saba, for instance. That an indication about the leadership and women leadership, for instance. And we have the conception of shura, for instance. You're right. I think I agree with you that there is a problem with the misleading and misunderstanding. And the more we talk, yeah, the more we do a dialogue. Yeah, I think, and the dialogue, the discussion, the conversation is the key. Yeah, very short to the questionnaire. Yeah.
Diyar.
Yeah, to the area. When I went to Canada and we brought the audience, the member of the seminar to a mosque, they were very impressed with the azan, and they thought azan is a song in the mosque. They don't know that Muslim has an azan. And when Muslim do a salah, yeah, praying, they thought it was part of the gym. So the very basic of Islam, they don't know that the way we do praying, for instance, yeah. So the very basic. of Islam they don't know, but then they try to pretend to know very well and then make a judgment about Islam and the culture and the civilization of Muslim society. That's the problem. And the problem is the limitation of the dialogue, the conversation. Yeah, the more we do conversation, the more we do dialogue, the more we meet each other, I think we can deal, we cope the problem of this misjudgment. That's from me. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much once again for Professor Hakimul Ihwan for the response. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we finally come to the end of the panel session. But before that, I want to say something. We know that in this digital era, yeah, of course, property values is really important, yeah, to protect our generation, yeah, our next generation from everything which can have a bad impact to the life of the next generation, of course. Okay, so before I close this session, I would like to invite for Professor Mubiar and also Professor Hakimul Ihwan to give a closing statement, because the two professors from India and Pakistan already left. They had classes in their country. Please.
Profesor dulu lah, kita mulai dari yang profesor dulu. Profesor Mubiar Agustin. Begitu ya, Bro Zumaro ya.
Lanjut aja. Where is Mr.
Maybe Prof. Mubiar already performing Zuhur maybe. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Very brief. Bu Arya Septi. First of all, again, I would like to express my deep gratitude to the IAIN Metro, to the director, yeah, Pak Mukhtar, and of course the committee, Bro Zumaro and the teams, yeah, all the lecturers for having and initiating this very insightful conference. Yeah, I think we need to do such conversation, discussion, lecturer on especially prophetic values, yeah, on what you call it, especially social science, prophetic social science atau ilmu sosial prophetic, ya, something that really genuinely develop from a culture that very close to us. I would say that might be the understanding or the expression of prophetic social science in Pakistan might be very slightly different to Malaysia, to Indonesia, yeah. And the more we discuss about this, I think will give us better and maybe closer, yeah, ways to solve our problems, or at least our giving us a better understanding, yeah, to our society, instead of always referring to the Western theories, yeah, coming from society that very much different to us. And always I think culture is matters, yeah. The way we live is different, the culture and everything. And thank you again, yeah. I really appreciate and inspired by the idea that IAIN Metro today bringing us the prophetic values, and especially in relation to the digital era. Again, yeah, thank you very much. And it is, I think, the part of the process. Hopefully in other times we can meet again, yeah, and further discuss. Maybe we address specific topic within the prophetic values, prophetic social science, for instance, and make it deeper and deeper and better understanding in our society. again ya, sekali lagi mohon maaf apabila ada salah, ada kurang. Kurang lebihnya mohon maaf. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. Hakimul. Well, Prof. Mubiar, are you with us?
Terima kasih, Prof. Iwan.
Okay, I think
Thank you, Pak Muhtar.
Pak Mubiar sudah tidak ada ya. Okay, maybe he has a bad connection. Well, ladies and gentlemen, so this is the end of the panel session. Thank you very much for the speakers. Professor Hakimul Ihwan, PhD, Professor Mubiar Agustin, Professor Atul Patil, and Professor Muhammad Soib Khan Patan for joining with us. Very much appreciated. And I hope to see you again. And for all the participants, thank you for being a wonderful participant during this session. Happily to see you again in the next meetings in 2023. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I give the back of the stage back to the Master of Ceremony.
Well, thank you, Bu Arya, for bringing this conference become so alive. Yeah, and now we are going to the last program, the last program. It is about the closing speech from the Deputy Director of Postgraduate of the State Islamic Institute of Metro. Please welcome Ibu Dr. Umiyawisa M. Hum. Time is yours, Ibu.
Okay, thank you very much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asrofil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi washabihi ajma'in amma ba'du. On behalf of the organizing committee, I'm delighted to deliver this closing remark on the success of the 11th Metro International Conference on Islamic Studies 2022, which was held virtually here. The committee successfully hosted the events as the panel session, and it was delivered with minimum technical issues. I believe that during this day, we have all had insightful, interactive discussion and great chance to share the outcomes of our research. Therefore, let me share a brief valuable information regarding the success of the MICIS, the 11th, which took place on the 8th of December 2022. Yeah. The date of the conference is December the 8th, 2022, and the format is virtual conference, and the platform is by Zoom meeting, host up to 367 participants. And there are 4 speakers here. The first is Bapak Hakimul Ihwan, PhD from Gajah Mada University. The second, Associate Professor Dr. Atul Patil, Head School Humanities, MIT Art, Design and Technology University, Pune, India. The third, Professor Dr. Muhammad Soib Khan, Director Office of the Research, Innovation and Commercialization, Government College University, Hyderabad, Pakistan. And the fourth, Bapak Dr. Mubiar Agustin, MPD from Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia. Finally, I would like to thank Director IN Metro, Director of Postgraduate Program, and all the committee, our distinguished speakers, who have shared their valuable experiences at the session, and also to all parties who have contributed their best efforts and assistance in organizing the event and ensuring the success of it. Thanks also go to all participants who patiently and faithfully followed the event to completion. I do hope that the 11th MICIS 2022 is able to impact all of us to greatly foster and empower the society through science and technology from sustainable innovation. To conclude, thank you for the great contribution and looking forward to seeing you in the 12th MICIS 2023. May Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala protect and bless us abundantly. Billahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Ibu, for the closing speech given. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here is our 11th Metro International Conference on Islamic Studies by theme The Internalization of Prophetic Values in Education, Law, and Economy in Digital Era. Postgraduate of the State Islamic Institute of Metro 2022. Thank you for your participation. See you next year on the 12th niches. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you for all the participants. See you next year.
Bro.
You're welcome.
Sampai ketemu lagi di
Which is 12
darat
next year.
Semua. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you all my students.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih semuanya.
Manis.
Thank you dari Jember. Mahasiswa, pascanya terima kasih semuanya.
Terima kasih semua partisipan.
Ya, Bapak Ibu silakan diisi daftar hadirnya.